The night was dark, and the moon was nowhere to be seen. The only light came from the dimly lit street lamps that flickered every few seconds. The air was cold and damp, and the sound of footsteps echoed through the deserted streets. The only person walking was a young woman named Emily. She had long, dark hair and was wearing a black hoodie and jeans. She was walking home from work, and she was tired and hungry. As she was walking, she noticed a group of people standing outside an old abandoned building. They were all wearing black robes, and their faces were covered by masks. Emily felt a chill run down her spine as she realized that they were members of a secret society that had been rumored to exist for years. The society was said to perform experiments on humans and animals to create hybrid monsters and super soldiers. Emily had heard stories about the society, but she had never believed them. She had always thought that they were just rumors spread by people who were afraid of the unknown. But now, as she looked at the group standing outside the old building, she knew that the stories were true. Emily tried to walk past the group as quickly as possible, but one of the members stepped forward and blocked her path. "What are you doing here?" he asked in a deep, menacing voice. "I'm just trying to get home," Emily replied, her voice shaking. The member looked at her for a moment before stepping aside. "Be careful," he said. "Be careful," he said before disappearing back into the group. Emily walked away as quickly as possible, feeling like she was being watched the entire time. She knew that she needed to get away from the building as quickly as possible, but her curiosity got the best of her. She turned around and looked at the building, wondering what was going on inside. As she looked, she saw a light in one of the windows. It was a dim light, but it was enough to catch her attention. She walked closer to the building, trying to get a better look. As she got closer, she could hear strange noises coming from inside. It sounded like a mixture of growling and screaming. Emily felt a shiver run down her spine as she realized that the rumors were true. The society was performing experiments on humans and animals to create hybrid monsters and super soldiers. She knew that she needed to get away, but her curiosity got the best of her. She walked up to the door and tried to peek inside. What she saw was something out of a nightmare. There were cages lining the walls, and inside the cages were creatures that she had never seen before. Some of them looked like humans, but they had the features of animals. Others looked like animals, but they had the intelligence of humans. And still, others were a mixture of both. Emily felt like she was going to be sick as she watched the creature. She couldn't believe that humans could do something so cruel and inhumane. She turned around to leave, but she was stopped by a hand on her shoulder. She turned around to see one of the society members standing behind her. "What are you doing here?" he asked again. "I was just leaving," Emily replied, trying to sound calm. The member looked at her for a moment before nodding. "Good, you shouldn't be here. It's not safe." Emily nodded and walked away as quickly as possible. She knew that she needed to get away from the society before they found out what she had seen. She ran all the way home, feeling like she was being followed the entire time. When she got home, she locked all of the doors and windows and sat down on the couch. She couldn't believe what she had seen. She felt sick to her stomach and couldn't stop shaking. She knew that she needed to do something to stop the society from continuing their experiments, but she didn't know what to do. As she sat there, she suddenly heard a noise coming from outside. It sounded like something scratching at the door. She got up and looked through the peephole, but she couldn't see anything. She opened the door slowly, and as soon as she did, something leaped at her. Emily screamed as the creature tackled her to the ground. It was a mixture of a wolf and a human, and its teeth were bared as it growled at her. She tried to push it away, but it was too strong. She knew that she was going to die. Suddenly there was a loud bang, and the creature fell to the ground. Emily looked up to see a man standing in the doorway with a gun. He was wearing a black suit and had a stern look on his face. "Are you okay?" he asked, his voice firm. Emily nodded, still in shock. "Who are you?" she asked. "I'm part of a government agency that's been investigating the society for years," he replied. "We've been trying to shut them down, but they're too powerful. We need your help." Emily didn't know what to say. She had just witnessed something that had shattered her worldview, and now this man was asking her to help take down a secret society that had been operating for who knows how long. She hesitated for a moment before nodding her head. "What do you need me to do?" she asked. "We need you to infiltrate the society and gather as much information as possible," the man replied. "We'll give you a wire and a camera to record everything that goes on inside. We'll also provide you with a team to help you get in and out." Emily couldn't believe what she was hearing. She was being asked to risk her life to take down a group of people who were performing inhumane experiments. But she knew that she couldn't just sit by and do nothing. She agreed to help, and the man handed her a small device. "This is a wire and a camera," he explained. "You'll need to wear it at all times. We'll be able to hear everything that goes on, and we'll also be able to see everything that the camera records." Emily nodded, feeling nervous and scared. She knew that this was going to be dangerous, but she also knew that it was the right thing to do. She worked with the government agency to come up with a plan, and they decided that the best course of action was to have Emily pose as a new recruit to the society. They created a fake identity for her, and she was given a cover story. She was told that the society was a group of people who were trying to make the world a better place by creating super soldiers and hybrid monsters that could help fight wars and protect the innocent. Emily knew that this was a lie, but she also knew that she had to play along if she was going to be able to gather information. Emily spent the next few weeks preparing for her role. She studied the cover story, practiced her acting, and even trained in some basic combat techniques. She was given a team of agents who would be with her at all times, and they worked together to come up with a plan to get her inside the society. Finally, the day arrived for Emily to join the society. She was nervous and scared, but she knew that this was her chance to make a difference. She put on her wire and camera and walked up to the entrance of the building. The same member who had stopped her before was standing outside, but this time he welcomed her with open arms. He took her inside and introduced her to the rest of the society. They were all wearing black robes and masks, and Emily felt like she was in a nightmare. For the next few days, Emily pretended to be a new recruit. She went through the initiation process, which involved drinking a strange liquid and going through a series of tests. She was shocked by what she saw. Society members were performing experiments on humans and animals, trying to create hybrid creatures that were stronger and smarter than anything that had ever existed before. Emily was horrified by what she saw, but she knew that she had to keep up her cover. She spent hours listening to conversations and recording everything she saw with her camera. She sent the information back to the government agency, and they used it to try and shut down the society. But things didn't go as planned. The society members found out about Emily's true identity, and they captured her. They took her to a secret room in the basement of the building, where they planned to perform experiments on her. Emily was terrified. She had seen what they had done to the other creatures, and she knew that she didn't want to end up like them. She tried to fight back, but she was outnumbered and outmatched. They injected her with a strange liquid, and she felt her body start to change. She felt her bones shift and her muscles bulge. She screamed as she felt her body transform into something that was no longer human. She realized that she'd become one of the creatures that the society had been creating. But Emily wasn't like the other creatures. She was still herself, and she still had her memories and her emotions. She was stronger and faster than she had ever been before, but she was still human at her core. Emily broke out of the room and started fighting her way through the building. She was on a mission to destroy the society and put an end to their experiments once and for all. She fought her way through the members, using her new strength and abilities to take them down one by one. She finally made her way to the main laboratory, where she found the leader of the society. He was a tall, thin man with a cold, calculating look in his eyes. He was wearing a white lab coat, and he was surrounded by his creations. Emily charged at him, using her new strength to knock him to the ground. She grabbed a nearby beaker and smashed it over his head, knocking him out. She then set the laboratory on fire, destroying all the equipment. If you like my story, don't forget to subscribe to my channel and like the video for more and similar stories.